Joining us. This is Ask a Care Navigator, Mondays with Maureen. Hi, everyone. My name is Maureen Williams, and I'm the Director of Care Navigation here at Four Seasons, the Care You Trust. And we try to create this space on most Mondays to talk about issues associated with living well and aging well, and perhaps how Four Seasons may be of service. If you have any questions, you can drop them into the comments box, either now live or later, or you can call us at 866-466-9734. 866-466-9734. Or you can go to our website, which is Four Seasons Care, F-O-U-R, spell it out, fourseasonscare.org. And thank you for your patience as we learn some new technology. That's mostly my learning curve, I'll be honest with you. Okay, today is President's Day. It's the third Monday in February, and it's come to be known as President's Day. Well, the actual federal holiday is Washington's birthday. It's never been changed from that. In the 1980s, I believe, there was a big promotion by marketing and advertising to combine the honoring of the president's birthday, specifically Lincoln and Washington, into President's Day, but it was never officially changed. In fact, there's some literature that shows that it was proposed to be changed to President's Day in 1951, but it was never done officially. It's still officially a federal holiday, and states and other banks and public places are closed today as well. So anyway, today is President's Day. I'm working, many other people are working, but let's talk about some fun facts about our presidents, and maybe have a little fun with this and tie over to give us some thoughts on aging well. Okay, so get ready to have a little bit of fun with me here. All right, did you know that George Washington was the only president who was elected unanimously? That means that every representative voted for him. One of the founding fathers of our country and our first president. Did you know that two presidents died on the same exact day and year? July 4th, 1826, John Adams and Thomas Jefferson both died. Now, they were not good friends at all. However, the day of their death was also the 50th anniversary of the signing and approval of our Declaration of Independence. And anniversaries are important. Did you know that Four Seasons Grief Services follows family members after the death of their loved ones under our hospice care for up to 13 months? Well, why 13 months? Well, to catch all the anniversaries, all the first birthdays, all the first wedding anniversaries, all the first anniversaries of the death of their loved ones. And I want to share with you that we are going to be hosting a new Zoom grief support group starting March the 5th, going through April the 9th on Wednesdays from 2 to 3, only via Zoom. And you can contact Four Seasons to sign up for that, because we have to be able to send you a link. And it's free. And this is part of people's grief process after the death of a loved one, to get past some of those anniversaries. So anniversaries while we're living are important, and anniversaries after the death of loved ones are important. And Four Seasons Hospice and Grief Services is here to support you with that. Okay. Do you know who the two presidents are who actually signed the Constitution? There were two presidents whose signatures are on the Constitution, and they are James Madison and George Washington. Now, our Constitution is a pretty important paper, isn't it? Are your papers in order? Do you have your advance directives in place? Are your legal documents in place? Do you have a last will and testament, a durable power of attorney, a HIPAA agreement? Are your papers in place? Very important. Now, you may not be able to tell it from this video, but I'm quite short, so this next one is kind of fun. The next fun fact is about James Madison. He was the shortest president. He was 5 feet 4 inches tall. He's just 4 inches taller than I am. And he weighed 100 pounds. I don't weigh that. 100 pounds. He just must have been a little bit of nothing. But there are two presidents who were the tallest, and they were Abraham Lincoln and Lyndon Johnson. They were both 6 feet 4 inches. That's pretty tall. So stay lean, keep stretching. James Monroe was the 5th president to die on July 4th. And James Monroe, was the 5th president of the United States, but he's the 3rd to die on July 4th in 1831. So there were 3 presidents who died on a really important date in our country's history, 5 years apart. Now, did you know that Abraham Lincoln, that big stove-piped hat he would wear, or that we see him wearing in so many photographs and pictures, he would sometimes store letters and important documents up inside that hat. So that begs the question, where are your important papers? Not only do you have them, but where are you keeping them? I hope not inside your stove-piped hat or a cardboard box somewhere. Keep them in a safe place, easily labeled, in a secure place. Make sure that those who are going to be following your wishes know how to access this information. Perhaps you can do it electronically. That's very possible too. Lots of opportunities there. Where are your documents? Okay, the next fun fact about presidents is that Franklin D. Roosevelt was the first president to appear on television during the 1939 World's Fair. It was a broadcast from the World's Fair site in 1939. I thought that was pretty neat. And that makes me think, how do you access information and news? We here in Western North Carolina learned very painfully after Tropical Storm Helene came through in the fall, what it feels like to be without any means of communication or access to information by any means. It was very odd here. Do you primarily get your news from the internet? Do you get your news from television? Do you get your news from the radio? Do you read newspapers? How do you gain and access information? It really made me think that having a battery-operated radio is a very good idea. That's always supposed to be part of an emergency plan. Very few of us had executed that, and it would have been very helpful. Of course, many of us went and got in our cars, turned it on to get the radio and information, but there are other ways of doing this. Here's just a fun fact. Did you know that the S in Harry S. Truman means nothing? It stands for anything. It doesn't stand for anything. John F. Kennedy was the first president who'd been a Boy Scout. Isn't that fabulous? And here's another thought on aging well associated with that. What are you doing to volunteer? Are you using your gifts and your abilities to volunteer and share and help others grow and develop? Boy Scouts are led by volunteers. They need good volunteers out there. And we know that volunteering has positive physiological, mental, emotional, social, even spiritual effects. Volunteerism is important. And by the way, if you want to volunteer at Four Seasons, we would love to have you join us. Go to our website, fourseasonscare.org, and there's a way to sign up to be a volunteer. Did you know President Woodrow Wilson, is buried at Washington National Cathedral, and he is the only president actually buried inside Washington, D.C. In terms of thoughts on aging, have you thought about what you want your funeral and burial plans to be? Do you want to be buried? Do you want to be cremated? Do you want to donate your body or organs? What are your plans? What are your wishes here? And not only that, who knows this? Have you prepaid your funeral arrangements? Let family members know about that. It's important. This is fascinating. Andrew Jackson was shot in the chest during a gun duel with another man, but he was able to stand and kill his opponent. However, the bullet was in such a place in his chest that it couldn't be removed. So he lived another 40 years with a bullet in his chest. Now that's resilient. What are you doing to remain resilient? Are you doing good exercises, stretches, yoga, eating well, sleeping well, going to see your doctors? Remain resilient. And if you're not too resilient now, it may not be too late. Keep it going. George W. Bush is the only president to have an MBA, Master's of Business Administration degree. What are you doing to keep growing in lifelong learning? We're very fortunate right here in Western North Carolina to have the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute housed at UNC Asheville. There are various OLLIs, we call them, all over the United States. The classes are free to seniors, but there are all sorts of ways to learn and grow and develop throughout your lifetime. Don't stop reading. Don't stop growing. Don't stop learning. Did you know, now this is fascinating, that Barack Obama won a Grammy in 2006 for his voice on the audiobook called Dreams from My Father. And do you read much? Do you listen to audiobooks? How are you stimulating your brain? How are you exercising your brain? Maybe it's the way you gather information, like from the newspaper or the internet. How are you growing? How are you developing? Read. Did you know, this is interesting, that Martin Van Buren was the first president born who was actually a citizen of the United States of America? All the former presidents had been citizens of British territories as British subjects when they were born. It may have been on what is now American soil, but they were considered British subjects when they were born. And I want you all to know, in the context of this, for thoughts on aging and living well and aging well and how Four Seasons can help you, we provide care and services to people regardless of their ethnicity, their ability to pay, their citizenship status. We just provide care. And we do this in large part because our foundation raises money so that we can certainly provide care regardless of ability to pay for our care navigation service, home care, palliative care, and hospice services, all of them. We are so fortunate. Thankful for our foundation. Did you know that President John Tyler had 15 children? I mean, the White House had to be hopping. What a legacy that he had left for his children. And James K. Polk was the first president to have his photograph taken while in office. And that's kind of a legacy thing. I mean, what are you doing for the legacy in your life, for your children, for your grandchildren? Or do you all have boxes of pictures of people that none of you recognize? And right now, we're also available and accessible digitally. What pictures do you want to share with your loved ones, or videos right now to remember you and think about you? That's going to be the future for us. That's the now, actually. And finally, William Henry Harrison died 32 days after his inauguration, after becoming president. He got a really bad cold while standing in the rain and giving his inauguration speech. It turned into pneumonia. He became sick very quickly after that, and he died. Just 32 days, shortest presidency. Stay safe out there. Be smart. Do all the health promotion and prevention things that you need to do. Stay healthy. It's important. That's part of living well and aging well. All right. I hope you enjoyed a few of these fun facts about President's Day and perhaps my thoughts, not silly, but my thoughts on aging as connectors, but thinking about how you can live well and age well. Just think about these things. Join me next Monday, February the 24th at noon, I hope. And the topic this time is going to be dementia caregiving resources. I'm going to share some dementia caregiving resources that I think might be important. And I just want to reference you back to our upcoming Zoom grief support group. It starts March the 5th and goes through April the 9th on Wednesdays from 2 to 3 by Zoom only, but you have to call us to register or contact us. And call us at 866-466-9734 or go to our webpage, which is fourseasonscare.org. We'd be delighted for you to join us. And there's no fee for that support group either. All right, everyone. Happy President's Day. And I hope you have a great one. Take care. Bye-bye.